So a bit of housekeeping, and while we do go through the housekeeping, I do have a poll that I'll just launch now. So if you can just answer that to whatever your situation is at the moment, it'll help us understand who is currently sitting in the webinar. So the webinar is being recorded. All registrants will receive a recording of it. Please feel free to share that with your colleagues if they were unable to attend. You'll also receive a copy of the notes. And for questions, please put them into the Q&A. And as we said, Mario is sitting in, he'll answer the questions as we go along. There is quite a number of you attending today, so if he's not able to get to your question, we will answer it live as well. See, people are still filling out that poll, so I'll keep that up there a little bit longer as I give a little bit of background. So Simple Invest 360, I'm sure some of you might have seen some of this when you joined the last webinar. We actually released as a first release for Simple Invest 360 back in February 2020, and then we went to a closed beta period in July. We were in closed beta, we were slowly putting on clients during that period up until our commercial release in the middle of June. So you can see it's about a year that we're in that closed beta period collecting feedback from clients. And then we went to that commercial release. And from commercial release until the end of August, we've got clients that are then able to access it for free. All our BGL clients are able to access it for free, 5 free entities until the end of August. As you can imagine, from the world back in February 2020 is quite different to the world we're in today. And I sometimes like to tell clients that Simple Invest 360 was built by people in their pajamas. All right, I'll just end that poll now. I'll share the results. I think it's interesting for everyone to see kind of breakdown we've got here today. So yeah, just over a third of you are actually actively using Simple Invest 360, which is great. And about half of you have not used it at all yet, and you're sitting in to get a bit of an idea of what it's all about. So thanks for filling that out. Okay, so on the agenda today, we'll be going through the different trust types, I guess, that we can set up there, the different beneficiary types, and the effects of those different beneficiary types, as well as the status of them. We'll go through, I'll give you a quick look at how to get some data in there quickly, as well as the matching that's involved there. Show you the different disposal methods and the tax implications of that. And then I'll hand over to my colleague, Andrew Perera, who will go through the profit allocation as well as the reporting. Okay, so I'll just jump over into the software now. So since half of you have not started using Simple Invest 360 just yet, I'll give you a quick look at how to set up an entity. You'll be familiar with this screen here with the Add New Entity, or you've got Entity Setup on the left-hand side. We can click on Add New Entity. We can click on the entity type here, so you can see that we've got the entity type, not just SMSF anymore, but we've got trust, company, and individual as well. If I click on trust or company, this little import from CAS 360 button will also pop up. So if you are a BGL client that has got CAS 360, you can pre-fill some of this data from CAS 360 for either trusts or companies. Here I've got a discretionary trust, and I can have also a unit trust, hybrid, testamentary, bear, business, or private ancillary. Obviously, the vast majority of clients are setting up discretionary, with some of them setting up unit or testamentary trust. But that's the kind of usual trust we see, Perera, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, majority, probably 80% probably is discretionary, and then yeah, the rest are unit, testamentary, and quite a few private ancillary, like charity type trust as well. Yeah. Yeah,
those charity type trusts as well. We've seen a few of those. That's right. Then the setup is just similar to how you would expect an SMSF. So we can do trust name, entity code, order it populates. We've got the ABN and the TFN here. We can choose to put in the opening balances there. We can just put in a date and the financial year, and then click on Create Trust. The system is then trying to guess what you want to do next. You can see you can enter some more trust details. In this case here, I wanted to add a beneficiary, and it takes us over to the beneficiary screen. So those of you that are familiar with Simple Fund 360, you might have noticed that the colors have changed for Simple Invest. We no longer have that members section here. We've got a beneficiary section instead. So if you did need to navigate there, it's got the beneficiaries section on the left-hand side. You can then click on Add Beneficiary, and it's giving you a list of contacts. Now, we're not just searching through the contacts that you have in Simple Fund or Simple Invest, we're also searching through all the entities that you have as well. So you can see here, we've got a company, it's a contact type. Here we've got a trust, that's what we call a billable trust. That's a person, and this is a individual or billable individual. So you can see the logos are a little bit different here, so just be aware of that. I can add this trust as a beneficiary, have the date commenced, date ceased if I needed to, then resident for tax purposes. You see we've got a toggle here. So this is not something that you need to set up in the address of that entity or that contact type. You're doing it within the beneficiary status here. You can toggle that on or off, and Andrew Perera will show you effect of that later on. So here I can add beneficiary. This one here we set as a trust. If I needed to add some further beneficiaries, I could add this company. So it's not a resident for tax purposes. I've got it in the Cayman Islands. I can go through and add as many beneficiaries as I need to. So that's how we're setting up those beneficiaries there for a discretionary trust. Now, I do have a unit trust though set up where I haven't added any beneficiaries yet. So this is a unit trust. Now, if I click on add beneficiary, you can see here, I can go through and add some unit holders to this beneficiary here. So for example, I think I've got one. We're searching through all the contacts and also all of the entity types. So I've got this trust that I've already set up. It's a unit holder, resident for tax purposes, and then I can go through and add the units. We already give you a long list of unit classes. So you can see it's quite a long list there. If you need some more, you can also add your own unit classes. I can add the number of units for this unit holder, the transaction date, the amount paid, and if there's any unpaid amount, we record it there as well. And if they had a beneficial owner, you could add that into the details here, and then we're clicking on save. Perhaps this unit holder has some other units, maybe some B units as well. Got one of those, transaction date, amount paid, then save. Now, we're not doing any of these supporting documents for these unit allotments or any sort of unit transfers or unit cancellations or redemptions. We don't take care of that. That's what CAS 360 does. So if you're not using CAS 360 currently, or if you are using it, but you're not using it to register all your trust, use it as a trust register and all of your transactions for your units, I definitely recommend that you have a look at that. So I can go through and add the beneficiary, and you'll see it's got the different unit classes here and the number of units they have. And that'll be important later on when Andrew Perera shows you how we do the profit allocation for unit trust. Okay, so those are the different trust types we've got and the different beneficiaries we can have, different status and different kind of unit classes that we can set up for them. Now, I just wanted to quickly show you how we can get some data into Simple Invest 360. We can use our smart matching screen. We can use a broker sees for import, or if you had just some data in Excel spreadsheet, you can copy and paste from that spreadsheet into this data entry smart matching screen. It's already doing a validation check for you, so you know the data will import correctly. You've got debits and credits, description, opening balance, closing balance, so you know that it's all going in correctly. And we just click on create, and that data will be imported into here, where we can then use the description, for example, to go through and quickly match off some data. So this one here, I want to code to 250, that's okay, and I'll multiple match those, and those are gone. Now, if we had a sale, for example, so I've got HBID here. I've got the units that I put in. So pick up the units here. And then you can see I've got this disposal method selected as most tax effective, and it's gone through and it's calculated the capital gain for most tax effective. If I wanted to, for example, in a certain scenario, just dispose of a certain parcel, I could choose manual and select which parcel to dispose of, or I could choose least tax effective, as there's some scenarios where I may be wanting to do that. and that'll go through. Once I click on save the transaction, it'll process it as the least tax effective method, and that'll be reflected in all the tax reports as well. Okay, so that's how we can select disposal method at a transaction level. You can also go through and set that up at an entity level in the entity details screen. For now, I'm going to hand you over to Andrew Perera, who's going to show you through the compliance screen and the profit allocation.
Thanks, Paszko. Let me just share my screen quickly. Everyone can see the screen now.
Looks good.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll go through the year-end compliance process that we have for Simple Invest first. So what you notice is if you go into the compliance screen for any Simple Invest entity, what we've done is the create entries process that you're familiar with in Simple Fund 360, we've just broken it down into more of a workflow because to cater for different scenarios and the flexibility that you need with trust and companies and individuals. So let's just have a look at what this workflow does. So in the first step, what we'll do is we'll calculate your taxable income. So you'll see in this screen, you have your accounting profit, and then it reconciles to your taxable income. So you can do your tax adjustments. So anything that you don't manage through the ledger can be manually adjusted in here, and your taxable income will adjust accordingly. You can also do tax adjustments. So for example, if you had an NRS tax offset, you can select that and put in the tax offset amount, and then you see your taxable income will adjust accordingly as well. Something you might have noticed here is in this case, I have an increase in my market movement of my investments. So for Simple Invest entities, you have the option to either keep your financials at cost or at market value. So in your trust details screen or your entity details screen, you'll have a toggle where you can switch on and off whether you want to keep your investment balances at market value in your financial reporting. So if you select yes here, then what you will notice is you'll have revaluation journals being triggered. So when you have revaluation journals being triggered, you will see in this reserve section, will automatically populate that amount to a reserve as well. So in this section here, what we do is any amount that you don't want to affect your distributable profit can be moved to a reserve account. So at this stage, we will automatically reserve any unrealized movement and any net capital losses. If you have other reserve scenarios as well, for example, say you have a income equalization clause, you can create your custom reserve accounts and select that. So if you wanted your net taxable income and your income available for distribution to be the same, then you can make an adjustment. So for example, say I got, this is my taxable income. Now my income available for distribution is 28,850. I can just go this amount minus that, and then it'll do the adjustment, and then your profit available for distributions will adjust accordingly as well.
Yeah, so that's a custom account that you've created there, is it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you can create any amount of custom reserve accounts. So depending on what you need for the trust, you can select that. And then once you click save and post, it'll automatically adjust the profit available for distribution, and it'll take you to the next screen where you can do distributions. Right, so with a discretionary trust, what you notice is there's two methods of distributions that we support. So you can either choose the proportionate method or the income streaming method. So if you are choosing the proportionate method, then you just need to simply put a percentage or a dollar amount in here, and then the distributions will be allocated based on that. If we'll just look at a more complex scenario where you would use income streaming. So in this case, you will have this income streaming toggle on. So what you notice is when I switch this toggle on, we'll give you some more information regarding each beneficiary. So I can see now I got a company, I got a trust, I got some individuals, I can see the individual's age, I got a minor, and then I got the residency status. So this is the residency status that Paszko set up at the start in the beneficiary screen. Will automatically flow through here as well. So I can see I have some non-residents, residents, and I can see how much was distributed to each person in the last financial year. Then if the beneficiary is also an entity in the system, like is another entity set up already in the system, that taxable income for that entity will automatically flow through as well. Optional, you can manually enter the taxable income if it's not an entity in the system as well. So once I set up income streaming, you'll see here now I have the option to put different percentages for my franked amounts and different capital gains amounts or any other income that I have. So for example, if I wanted to say allocate 30% of the frank to this person, 40% here, say another 30% here, I can put different percentages. Then I can see I got some discounted gains. I don't want any of that to go to the company. I'll just allocate that to the trust in this case. And then I'll just put the other gains to the company. And then say I got one more person who's like who's below 18. So I'm just going to allocate $416 here. And then I can say, okay, I want to move that $416 out of this trust. I can just minus that out as well. So once you do that, you can then select autofill from percentage. You see, when you select that, we will pre-fill this section automatically for you. So this tax component section is basically designed to match your statement of distribution that you would prepare in your trust tax return. And then you can manually adjust the amounts in here as well.
I can see, Perera, that there is a little lock icon next to the franking credits there as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a, so by default, we'll lock the franking credits. So most of the time, your franking credits will be split based on the percentage that you allocate your frank distributions. You might have some specific scenarios where you want particular investments franking credits to only go to one person, and you might need to edit this. In this case, we'll just let you unlock it, and then you'll be able to edit it as well. We just lock it by default just to avoid any manual data entry. Yeah. And then you also have the options to like choose other information that you, for example, if you had a TB statement, you're distributing it on another trust or something, you need to fill out, you have that option of selecting that as well in this screen. Then we can fill out that section as well. Okay, so once you do the distributions to each beneficiary, once you click post and continue, let's see look at the transactions the system post. So if I now go into my transaction screen, yep. So under system journals, what you'll notice is we'll post a journal automatically for each beneficiary for the amount that's distributed. And then if I go into the transactions, I can see in the more details all the detailed tax components of what that distribution is made out of as well. Okay, so some more information about distribution. So this distribution screen will change based on the type of entity that you got selected as well. So for example, if you were doing a distribution for a unit trust, if I go into the distribution screen, what you'll notice here is, sorry, what you'll notice here is you can see I can allocate profit based on different unit classes. So previously you saw how you can enter different unit classes and allocate them to beneficiaries. Then say you want to split profit based on unit classes. I can say 40% to this and 60% to this unit class. Then the system will automatically allocate that profit based on the number of units each unit holder holds within that class. Other scenarios that you may need to cater for is like those charitable trust or a testamentary trust where you don't need to do the full distribution or you don't have any beneficiaries really to distribute. That's also fine. In that case, what we'll do is we'll allocate the profit to your retained earnings account. So if I were to do this, what you'll notice is my profit allocation journal now looks a bit different. You see it's gone to a retained earnings account instead of a beneficiary account. So, okay, so once you do the distributions, next, what you can do is prepare your tax reports. So at this stage, we prepare a full tax reconciliation report. This report is available for all the 3 different entity types. So for trust companies and individuals, And in this report, we'll detail out each of the tax labels that you need to fill out for in the tax return. So you can use this and then prepare your tax return at this stage. We also prepare a statement of taxable income and a beneficiary distribution report as well. So that will help with filling out the beneficiary section of your tax returns as well. Let's look at some more reports now. Yep. So in the reports, we pretty much prepare a full set of financials. So under the financial reports, you have all your balance sheets, your operating statements, including detailed versions, notes, taxable income reports, etc. All the investment reports that you may be familiar with in Simple Fund 360 is available for Simple Invest entities as well. And then you have all your letters and minutes, trustee declarations, resolutions, distribution statements can be prepared as well. You can have your own custom reports as well. And then you have all work paper reports such as your general ledgers and trial balances can be prepared as well.
And how can they customize some of these reports, Perera? I know some of it's done at badge level. Yeah,
that's right. So you can either have your own custom reports. So you can create a report as a Word document and upload it. Or if it's a letter and minute, you can just they're all Word templates. So you can download the default template to Word and then edit it and upload it back. And then it'll match the way you want the template to look, basically. Let's have a look at some of the reports. Yeah, should be right. Let's have a look at some of the reports now. Just as an example, I've just prepared a pack. So you can prepare a similar pack like this. So we have a balance sheet, then you have the operating statement. So what you'll notice is in the operating statement or any report really, it looks similar to what you may be used to in Simple Fund, but each based on the entity, the details that are shown within that report might change. So for example, I can see some distribution information now in my beneficiary report, operating statement. Then you have appropriation statement you can prepare. You have a beneficiary balance summary report, which you can use to reconcile beneficiary balances or anything that's contributed or how much profit was allocated, etc. The notes is also available in Word. So the notes also can be downloaded to Word and you can edit all these text and match to the way you like to present it. Then we also prepare all the financial reports. So you have all your performance reports. There is also a portfolio progress report, which you can use to track the portfolio performance as well.
That's a new report there, isn't it, Perera, that progress?
Yes, yeah, probably, yeah, released about a month ago. Yeah, that's right. Then also something to note is all the capital gains reports are prepared. So we calculate the net capital gain for each entity. So this report is available for all entity types. And then you'll see, for example, if you generate this for a company, we won't calculate discount gains. This is a trust, so I have some discounted gains. It'll apply any prior year losses, any collectible values, and then it'll calculate your net capital gain as well. So all the disposals that Paszko showed at the start, based on how you process your disposals, this report will change accordingly. Then some of the other key reports are your letters, such as your trustee resolution. With the trustee resolution, we really cater for two scenarios. You could prepare a detailed version such as this. So you can see here, it's broken down into each beneficiary, all the different components that are distributed. Or you could prepare a more summarized version such as this. So in this case, I'm done streaming, so I can just see how much of the each streamed amount is for each beneficiary. If you were to use, for example, proportional method, it'll just show you how much of the total distribution was allocated to each beneficiary in this case. You can also edit this report. Something to note is these reports, how you show the distribution, you can either choose to show a dollar amount or a percentage amount as well. And then you can customize things such as your trust income, the type of trust income, and that can be reflected in the resolution as well.
We did have one question, Perera, about how they could put their logo on the reports or on the front cover.
Oh yeah, the logo can be uploaded in the badge screen. So if you go into badges, and then you select a badge, and then you just upload the logo in here, and then save it. So if you have multiple badges, you may need to upload it to different badges. And then in here, you select that badge, and then the report, the logo will automatically show up in all the reports. Sorry, one more report that I want to show is your distribution statement. So we prepare a detailed distribution statement as well. You see all the tax components broken down. So each beneficiary, it'll prepare a separate page for each beneficiary, and you'll have a summarized version and a detailed version as well. Okay, so that's some of the main report functionality that I'd like to cover today. What I'll do now is I'll just show you some specific calculations relating to company and individuals as well. So the other two entity types that we support. So what you notice is if I select a company, the workflow process is the same. But when I go through each step, it'll look a bit different. So in a company, the taxable income screen, what we've done is we've designed this to match the section 7 of your tax return. So the section where you would reconcile your operating profit to the taxable income. So all the labels in here will match that. And then you can use this to assist to prepare that as well. And then similar to the trust one that I just showed, you can do your manual adjustments in here as well, including any tax adjustments. We will automatically calculate any investment specific tax calculations, such as your franking credits tax offset. So that's one of the main things that you would need to calculate for a company. So for example, in this case, I can see I have franking credits of 3,600, but it's only claimed 3,141 because of my tax on taxable income. So in this case, the excess would automatically get converted to a tax loss based on the ATO formula and be carried forward as well. So in a company, once you post the tax journals, then you can allocate your profit to a retained earnings account using this screen. We also help to manage your franking account. So your franking account worksheet will calculate certain items and display it in this screen. You also have the option to do any manual adjustments, so you can keep track of your franking account balance for each year. So that it helps with when you need to pay any dividends out for that entity as well. With individuals, this workflow will work similar, but then obviously the taxable items will look a bit different. So with individuals, we really see two different user cases. Some entities are set up just to manage their investment balances, dividends, corporate actions, etc., just to as an investment reporting platform. But some entities are set up to really do the full financials, where you prepare your balance sheet and operating statement. So whichever method that you prefer for individuals, it's fine. Both are catered for. In terms of taxable income, we'll calculate all your tax related items for your investments. So for example, we'll calculate your franking credits, foreign tax credits, or any net capital gains calculations. Any other item that you may want to bring in, you can bring it in manually as well. So your other income or your other deductions can be brought in this screen as well, including any tax adjustments that you want to bring in for an individual. With individuals, if you prefer to prepare a full financials, then you can allocate your full profit to a retained earnings account, which will balance your balance sheet, and then you can prepare a full balance sheet as well, full financial reports as well. Then all your tax reports are available for individuals, such as your tax rec and your statement of taxable income as well. So now I'll just hand it back over to
just quickly, Perera, we did have a question around it. So you've got up to the point of the tax reports here, and then there is a step for closed period. So what does the closed period do, and when do they need to do it?
Yeah, close period is what you do at the end. Sorry, I didn't miss that step, but close period basically will close your financial year and balance it forward to the next year. So once you've done all your entries and prepared all your reports, lodged the returns, then you balance it forward to the next year. Close period mainly is critical for your trust. So if I were to go into a trust and close period, in this case, I just have one account, but if you had multiple beneficiary accounts, we give you the flexibility on how you want to use that for reporting as well. So you can select which accounts you want to balance forward to an opening balance account, and you can show the reporting according to that as well. And then when I close period, it'll automatically close those close period journals and move the financial year into the next year as well.
And then they can always reopen that year if they
Yes.
did need to go back for whatever reason. We'd still give them.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You can just select reopen and then it'll reopen the period.
Okay, great. I'll just share my screen now. Okay, so we are coming towards the end of the webinar. So thanks, Perera, for going through all those detailed tax stuff. I like to call him the smart Andrew in our team. If you ever do have questions that come through, we usually put them through to him. He definitely knows his stuff. He used to work in compliance team for Simple Fund, so we're very happy to have him as part of Simple Invest 360 team. We do have a new partner to announce. It's AVA Systems. AVA, basically, they are pulling data through from Simple Fund 360, Simple Invest 360, General Ledger, such as Xero. They pull it through into their platform, and that means that you can start to have a holistic view across the whole family group. So you can pull data in from SMSFs, trusts, companies, individuals, their business as well if they're running it on Xero. And you pull all that data into AVA, and then you can have a nice dashboard to have some interesting conversations with your clients about. We will be running a webinar with them on the 31st of August. I think Mario might be able to post a link for the registration for the webinar into the chat. So if that is of interest to you, please make sure that you sign up for that. I will just launch another quick poll for those of you still on the call. We just collected some info around AVA. So if you can just complete that to the best, to whatever suits your scenario there, really appreciate it.